overheated, and that was not a good thing. Let's see. Hey.
Hi. Not sure what happened. Sorry. It
Oh,
just froze and then it was gone. I was like,
got
what
really
happened?
hot.
Oh.
It said emergency, your phone is overheating, and it just turned off. So I just switched over to my tablet.
Hi.
Gotta make it work.
Yep. Do what you gotta do.
But yeah, I don't even know where I left off. I was like, what is that coming up on my screen?
That is A-okay.
But yeah, I feel like people don't realize how much influence that they've got. I've learned just from so I live in Trump's nation, like everything Trump. There's signs that say Biden occasionally, but most of it's Trump. And for me, it actually gave me hope when I started wearing like my Biden shirt. And I actually had people coming up to me and they're like, I voted for him. I voted early. Yeah, Biden. And like just knowing that maybe I don't see that the signs everywhere for Biden here, but just knowing that there are people out there kind of inspires me to be like, hey, it's okay. Like we're still gonna make it. So
Yeah. It's interesting. Going back to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like I watched, if you haven't seen it on Hulu, RBG. It's just a documentary about her and her life. And first of all, phenomenal. I was like emotional the whole time. But what I love about it is it just shows how she was a person. She was a human. And we tend to make heroes kind of become idols that are something that we could never achieve. And yes, she is a hero, and she should be somebody that we can look up to, and in a sense idolize for the things that she's done. But until those things become our actions, or until we are able to recognize that we have that same potential in us, it really doesn't mean anything. Because if she's not inspiring you to go out and be a chief justice, or to go out and be in your local politics, or to at least vote, or do those things, then what was it for? Yes, it's awesome that she's helping you get rights, but guess what? You can then take that a step further and be an example and a light for someone else. And I think that's kind of huge, because anyone anyone can become a politician. Anyone can go and fight for justice. Anyone can do that. And and I think that's huge, that we all have power. And I think that's something huge to stay positive about with 2020, is that we all have a spot in this. We all have abilities and capabilities, and a platform with which to speak from. And I think that's exactly what you're saying right there.
yeah, I mean, we've been given the technology to have a voice, and I think that social media can definitely be used in a lot of negative ways, but I think that there are also hundreds of thousands of positive ways to make positive change with social media. And personally, like for me, I didn't have a large following on social media. Like I started my YouTube with like the whole coming out. I started it because I wanted the LGBT community to realize that the stereotypes don't have to define us. You can be whatever you want to be and still be gay. We live in a world now where that progression has made it a clear path for us. We still have challenges, but we definitely, it's been opened up for us a lot more. And I just, my whole thing was always like, if it touches one person, it was worth it for me. I've never been about the views. And during 2020, I think that when I switched my mindset to, God, this world is dark. We need some light in this world. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to bring light into this world. I honestly think that that resonated with a lot of people, and my following has grown so fast. And I'm very thankful for it, but I definitely take it as a large responsibility. When I see 24,000 people following me, I'm like, oh my God, that's 24,000 people I can positively influence and tell them that their votes matter. They are significant people in this world, no matter how small maybe their social media following is. Anyone can make a difference in this world. And that's why I've kind of started pulling these Instagrams together, because I think that there's a lot of positive people. I know that you and I have known each other for a couple of years now, via social media. And you're definitely one of those people that I've talked to when life has kind of slapped me in the face with things. And you've always kind of given me that, hey, I know it's bad right now, but keep going. And I think we all kind of need to do that for each other. I think we are seeing a lot of negative, and it can put out people's lights. I know that lots of things like the debate last night, losing Ruth, seeing Trump get elected in 2016, those can be huge buckets of water on your light. But I think it's important to connect with other people and keep each other's lights going, because if we let all the lights go out, then darkness wins. And we've got to make sure that we don't let that happen.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost like a Disney movie. Fighting against evil.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But I mean, it's true though. I posted yesterday on Instagram and I said, are we not, I think something to this effect, I just kind of made it up, but are we not an amalgamation of light and dark, good and evil? We have the potential for good, we have the potential for bad. And it's important that we recognize that everyone has those potentials. Whether or not people use their platform for good or for bad or evil, it's not up to us to decide. That's for each individual. And I think the more we spread, or the more we show that being positive, being helpful, being kind, being uplifting is an okay thing, is a normal thing, the more other people will strive to do that, will try to be and imitate that, and bring out the positivity that they have to offer. And I think what happens is we get caught in this cycle of, oh, things are so bad, or oh, things are just this, and oh, I can't fix this, or oh, it's just not fair, or all this woe is me. And yes, it's true, there's a lot of tough shit that happens to us, but we have the potential and the power to take control, to take advantage of every situation. Ask for help. We have the potential to reach out to people. There are people, I try as often as possible, especially on Instagram. People will message me asking me questions, or message me with concerns that they're having in life, and the last thing I want to do is turn somebody away who's struggling or needs a friend or needs somebody to talk to. And I think the more that we normalize that kind of culture, the more we're able to help. And I was just reading a comment right there. Alex Gittins says we all need to look out for our mental health and each other. That's something that I've been really focusing on lately. I volunteer here in Salt Lake at, it's called Encircle. It is it's like an organization devoted to helping LGBTQ youth, and even people who are older adults and such, with resources, friendship circles and therapy and different things like that, because it's hard, and mental health is something that is huge. But that positivity that we can spread with others will help people to overcome the problems that they're having, and then that further bleeds into the rest of society. Then those people will go out and help others and spread their positivity, their light, and then more and more people will kind of get the ball rolling when it comes to being good and decent and kind to other people.
Yeah, so for me personally, like, I definitely believe in giving people their power back. And we also have to realize that we give the people around us power. So I know that when it comes to me going out and about in the world, I always try to be as positive as possible, to the point where I go to several places pretty frequently, like gas stations on my commute, and people recognize that. And when I am down, when I'm not feeling great, they recognize that. They see, oh my gosh, something must be wrong. He's not smiling like he always does. And just from that relationship that I've created with complete strangers an environment for myself to where when I am feeling down, I've got some people that just say, hey, are you okay? Like, if you need to talk, just let me know. Like, I'm here. Like, you can inspire people to and create an environment around yourself. You've just got to make sure that you don't give the negative people the power over you, because I think that a lot of people are giving a lot of the wrong people power. And I think that right now, I was just talking to one of my friends. I was saying that we've really got to use our brains and our hearts right now. We've got to educate ourselves on politics and what it all means, because we don't want to vote blindly, but we also have to have a heart and not be so defensive and attack people for having different views, because we don't know why they have those views. And I think just opening up discussion, I think asking questions instead of demanding people see your way of doing things, I think that will open up an area where you can kind of have a discussion with people and be like, hey, I see that your political stance is a little bit different. I've seen a lot of posts where it's like, if you vote for Trump, then you cannot be an LGBT ally. And I've seen that, and I understand the idea behind it. But what I'm afraid people don't realize is they're creating a stronger Trump supporter, and we just lost an ally. Because I know that there's people around here, because of the way that they grew up, because of the values they've been taught, they are Trump supporters. But I know that if I was in a situation where someone was beating the hell out of me because I was gay, that those people would be there for me instantly, and they are good people in that sense. They don't necessarily fully understand what it is to be LGBT. And I've seen this with the Black Lives Matter movement as well. People saying it's not our position to have to educate those people on our cause. And I'm like, I think it is. Maybe you personally aren't the person to educate them, because a lot of gay people, a lot of Black people don't fully understand or don't have the right words to educate. But you should have the resources or a direction to point people in, because if they vote for Trump and you can't even come up with an educated reason for why they shouldn't, then why are they going to vote for the person you think is better if you can't even have a conversation to educate them on why they shouldn't vote that way?
Yeah, no, that is very true. I think that kind of goes back to the being able to have communication skills, being able to understand how to talk to people as people, and not the labels that you see them as. Especially, like, you see that a lot within the LGBTQ community too. There are people who can be somewhat toxic, and because of status or position, you really want to spend time with people that may be toxic or not positive in your life. Kind of like what you're saying is spending the right time with the right people. If we were to focus more on people and what they believe, what they stand for, what they care about, and see people in a more deep, less superficial way, and more profound way, it's amazing what types of friends you can find, and things like that. I hear so often, like, oh, I don't have any friends, or I don't have people that I can talk to like that. And it's funny because either one, they think they can't talk to people because of status or something, or they only want to talk to certain people because of that same reason. And it's interesting because you end up casting out so many people from your life that could potentially be great resources for compassion and kindness and understanding, empathy, things like that. And I I don't know. I think it's super important um, to be able to take the time and get to know people, especially ones that come into your life. I'm not one um, for reasons or anything like that people come into your life, but I am one for seizing opportunities and recognizing when something happens that, like, you know what, this could be an opportunity, this could be a potentially something that could positively benefit me and other people, by interacting with this person or taking 2 seconds to respond to a message that someone sends, things like that. um, and and I think that could help create um, a safer environment for people, especially within the LGBTQ community, but also outside, to interact with one another and feel human about it, and not. I mean, we there's a few things within our community that creates these weird dichotomies of existence, and one of those being like the Grinder aspect, and I have nothing wrong with Grinder. Like, it's a wonderful place to meet people, but sometimes it creates these skewed realities for people of what to expect when talking to other people within our community. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's safe necessarily. I think we need to find ways to connect and communicate and bond and become close, um, so that don't harm the ones that we're trying to connect to and become close to, and things like that. And I think that translates and permeates throughout all of society. We have to find ways to communicate openly, honestly, and positively with one another, and recognize again that we're all in this hellhole of a place, a hellhole of a year, together, and we need to recognize that and figure out how to lift each other instead of pushing each other down.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of comments where it was talking about like being open-minded and being able to understand perspectives. I think a lot of people, an error that happens in this mindset is you need to be open-minded to my opinion, but we forget that we also have to be open-minded to their opinion. And a lot of times I feel like both sides just think that they're so right, and they get you to understand why they are right, instead of having that conversation where it's like, here's my views, now let's listen to yours. Like, I mean, the debates last night are a perfect example of not giving each other any time to share their views at all. They cut each other off so many different times that I honestly, half the messages were lost in arguments that I couldn't even understand what was happening. I don't think half their conversations even stayed on topic with what that segment was for, which I think also is an issue. Like, it's almost like in a relationship when people are like really emotionally charged and angry with each other. It's like, but 2 years ago, remember you looked at that guy's butt at the club, and I like, you can't, you need to stay focused. You need to like find a purpose of a conversation and keep that going. But I feel like so many people, they're like, you need to be open-minded. I'm not going to be open-minded, but you're going to be. And I'm like, that's not how this works. Like, I've I've changed
Two-way street.
exactly. I've changed people's minds. I've had people take down Trump signs after discussing like why I think that Trump's not that great of a person, and they're like, you know what? No one's ever like talked to me in that perspective, because I educated myself on who they were. I educated myself on their values, and then I showed them how their values align with Biden as a president. And because we had that discussion, because I silenced my opinions, I didn't share with them why. Most people just assume because I'm gay, that's why I vote blue. But I educate myself fully on my candidates before I vote, because blue doesn't necessarily mean LGBT friendly. There's lots of
Uh,
blue that are like, send the gays to hell. I don't want anything to do with them.
yeah.
So I think that we just have to realize that, I mean, it's hate everywhere. I have arguments with Democrats just as much as I have Republicans when it comes to things that they're posting. I'm like, so that post, like, what's the outcome you want to get from that? Like, were you hoping to persuade people, or are you just trying to piss people off? And I was like, remember, if you post it to piss off a Republican, guess what you've done? You've angered a Republican that might be in a situation where now they're going to say something hateful to maybe an LGBT youth that a lot of times they're very vulnerable. Like, they're in a position where they don't really have the support that we do as older LGBT people. And you've got to start thinking of the bigger picture when you're saying and posting things online, because what you say does affect other people. When you piss off a Republican, it might feel really good to be like, yeah, I got him. But you've pissed him off now, and now he's angry, and now he's posting hateful things that do affect other people's view of the world.
Yeah. I think it's important what you're saying to recognize that our actions have other consequential actions involved with them. Um, and I think that's why, for me, I try and not create, or not, I try not to get goaded by other people if they say something that's rude or disrespectful, or something that obviously I wasn't trying to be this way, but they're playing it out to be like that. And I just try to be as kind and positive and reassuring as possible. And I think that's something that goes along with this communication, like as speaking to other people as humans. Like, it doesn't just mean when you're talking face to face. People are still, there's somebody on the other end generally, of that screen. There's somebody on the other end of that chat. There's somebody on the other end of that comment who has feelings, has emotions, and you don't know their motivation for saying the things that they do. Maybe something happened then, and they feel jaded, or maybe they feel really upset, or maybe they're just trying to get some sort of social interaction. And this, every single opportunity to talk with somebody, whether it be online, in person, is an opportunity to uplift. Every single opportunity that you take is an opportunity to help somebody further their life, progress, and become a better human. And that includes yourself too. That's one of the best things about being helpful, being kind, being uplifting, is it not only benefits the person that you're trying to strive to help, but it also benefits you. You learn and you understand and you grow, and your mind, your worldview, your understanding of the human condition is strengthened, is bettered. And I think it has a lot of merit what you're saying, that we need to watch what we say. And better yet, when we say things, understand our intention. Don't be like Trump and just react and react and react to however you feel, to whatever is said to you. That's never going to be beneficial, ever. I promise. Take the time to think. And especially through social media, you've got all the time you need to think and take your time, because somebody posts something and then leaves it. They're not thinking about it for another 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or until they get a notification saying that you've responded. And so you have time to sit and think and like ponder and question. And then you can, if need be, you can even go and message that person behind the scenes and say, hey, so I saw that you posted this in conjunction with this thing that I said or did. What's the reasoning behind it? I'm just trying to understand a little bit better, because my intention was this and this. I really didn't mean to do anything to harm or upset or hurt. These are the things that I've felt. And just being able to do that instead of, wow, why would you say that? And then like turn it back on them and just really try and just crush somebody. That's never going to be beneficial. And that's what happens quite often within the LGBTQ community, outside of the LGBTQ community, and all over the world. But if we can change that, re-socialize ourselves to recognize that we can have very human conversations with people, even through social media, then we can create a more positive space and a more uplifting space, especially for those people who are vulnerable, especially to those populations of people like LGBTQ youth who are struggling and need a space to feel safe and loved, and don't exactly know how to do that. Don't just write them off. Listen, understand, learn, and grow.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of times people are too quick to jump to the stereotype of who someone is supposed to be. And I think we also, we don't realize how much we are, the life that we've lived makes us look through a different lens on how people post things. I think that when someone posts something, like through my filter, it might mean one thing, through your filter, it might mean something different. And instead of trying to understand that person's perspective and why, we just automatically assume. And I saw people commenting about like social media. Social media can be used in a good way. When it comes to communication, we have to learn a new way of communicating. Emojis and stuff like that is very different. It's very different. I've the person that I was dating not too long ago used to just kind of send the emoji up like, and like I'd say something that I'm really passionate about, and it's that response. And for me, that was like like the behind it for him. So it's just kind of interesting, kind of openly communicate and kind of see the meaning behind it, but you have to care. That's why I told people like, stop using social media to talk to people that don't know you at all. I deleted over 4,000 people off of my Facebook because I would post something and I would get attacked by thousands of people I don't know, and they don't know me. So they're attacking me on something, whereas some of the things that they said, if they actually knew me as a person, they wouldn't say that at all. They wouldn't assume that that was the type of person I was, because my friends that know me know that my heart is in the right place and that I'm constantly trying to do good. And so you've got to realize that social media, yes, it can be a very horrible place. You were talking about dating apps. I think they can be very horrible as well. It becomes a very superficial, shallow view of people. I think that social media has kind of gotten to the point where we try to judge people based upon scrolling through their pictures and seeing what they post. Whereas I've told people before, like, my social media probably represents 1% of who I am. I don't share my bad moments. I don't share all my successes. I don't share tons of stuff on social media that would give you the bigger picture of who I am as a person. And so like social media, we definitely have to stop treating it as if it's meeting the person in real life. It's completely different. And even like video chatting with someone is a completely different experience than texting.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much more to what's going on right now.
That is very true. I think social media, just like everything else in life, is a tool. And how that tool is used makes all the difference. For example, a gun can be used to harm a person, or it can be used to protect, or it can be used to find food. A gun doesn't make any decisions. A person makes a decision with the gun. Just as the same thing with alcohol, for example. Alcohol doesn't get in crashes. Alcohol doesn't cause drunk driving, or doesn't choose to get in the car while drunk. Alcohol doesn't do anything beyond how we use it. And so it's important to recognize that social media isn't evil. In fact, I would say social media and the worldwide connectedness that comes from the internet has created the most amount of opportunities we have ever seen in this life for connection, for genuine understanding, has created opportunities for growth and change of opinion and thought and belief, the spread of ideas. That can go both ways. It can become something huge and wonderful, but it can also become something deadly and terrifying. And it's important that we recognize that social media is not good, nor is it evil. It's how we use it. It's what we use it for. The interactions we have, like we've said, the abilities that we give ourselves to use it in a meaningful way. This week, I posted a picture on my story on Instagram. It was a picture that a photographer took of me, and it was just my butt. And on it, I said, "Now that I have your attention, register to vote," because that's the thing is like we can use it. People want certain things, but what are we giving them with it? What are we asking? What is our call to action? That for me right now is my biggest one is, guys, use your right to vote. Use your right to make a difference in your community, in our country, and ultimately in the world. A difference that can be made throughout the entire world is happening in November, and that is huge. And everyone needs to be a part of it. There are so many people who do not vote because they don't think that they have a chance at making a difference, and that is blatantly false. It is a lie that has been given to us to make us feel like we can't do anything, but it's not true. Every single person who can vote should and needs to vote, because if you do, then the will of the people will be performed. But then and only then can the will of the people be performed, if that makes sense. So use social media as a tool. Use it in the best way that you can, and we'll be able to make the biggest changes that we need.
Yeah, I've been recently discussing with people, just telling them that they really need to put a positive spin on their politics. And people think that positive words, kindness, and love are like weakness. Uh, Honestly, I've talked to so many people that don't vote, and their number one cause is, well, both parties are so corrupt. Why would I want to talk about that? And that's because no one's really sharing, oh my God, Biden's done this, and this, and he is an amazing politician. All we're getting is the Democrats are posting really hateful things about the Republicans. The Republicans are posting really hateful things about the Democrats. So then we've got that big gray part of the chart of people who don't vote. And it's because they aren't supercharged in the political field. Maybe they're not a gay person who their rights are being voted away. Maybe they're not in the Black community where they feel like suppressed by everything that's going on. Maybe they're just okay with coasting through life. But the thing is, if we say, hey, like, the reason I'm voting for Biden is because these are his beliefs, these are the things he wants to accomplish. Post everything that you love about your candidate, because you don't see it online. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see that. All you see is really negative. And when it comes to like,
Don't vote for. Don't vote for. And
yeah,
when you hear that, then all you hear is
you're wishing
the
that
person that you're saying not to vote for.
don't vote.
And that's what's in people's head.
Like, people don't realize that social media and media are very catered to the person that has it. So me personally, because I am a Democrat, because I am gay, my feed, all the ads, all the commercials, everything is Biden. All the people who vote for Trump, they're seeing the same thing, but for Trump.
Trump.
And when people try to have a conversation, they don't realize that this person isn't reading the same article as you. You're reading two completely different articles on the same story. That's why you can't communicate with each other, because you haven't taken the time to realize that we're being fed information that's different than the people that have different views than us. And I think that's why I don't love social media, just because I would like to see what the Republicans are reading. I would like to see why they think that Donald Trump is a great president, because
Yeah.
the stuff I'm reading, I'm like, nope, I would never, nope, can't see that happening. But we have to realize that social media, like, I live here right near Charlottesville. So during the debates, they talked about what happened here in Charlottesville. And that riot was crazy. My little sister wanted to go there. I was like, please don't. There's just a lot of hateful people there. I was like, you shouldn't be around that. It could turn into something really dangerous. I was like, if we just don't give them attention, they will go away. Like, that's how things happen on social media. The algorithms are affected by what people give attention to. Trump's craziness wouldn't exist as much if he didn't get attention. Like, he was upset when Twitter took away one of his tweets out of the algorithm, so like it didn't get as many likes as he was hoping it would get. The things that we give attention to are the things that show up on social media now. I go to tons of social media events and they're constantly talking about the algorithms. And a lot of people that are following me now are like, I saw you on the search page. I didn't show up on the search page a year ago, but I do now, because of the type of stuff that I'm posting. So we've got to stop giving Trump's administration all this attention, because we're literally saying, hey, here, Trump, here's free attention, when could be posting positivity about Biden, boosting his platform.
Yeah, very much true. I'm 100% in agreement with that, because we need to be open and honest about the truths. And one of the things when it comes to Biden that I love is how human he is. He is okay with being vulnerable. He is okay with being honest. He's okay with being wrong. One of the things that I think is so funny in the political theater right now is all of this talk of, oh, well, you did this in the past and you did this in the past and this and this. And it's like, yes, I did. But that's not what I do now. I've changed. I've learned. I've grown. And we need to be able to let people do that. And one of the things that I have seen that I really just, I think is very telling of Trump's character is that he is not capable of letting himself be wrong. He doesn't allow things that he does to be criticized, and he won't take responsibility for the things that he did that were wrong. And I think that just shows, like, we need people in our governance to be able to be human, to be able to be wrong, and to grow and to change. And I think that is a theme that we can all stand by. We all need to recognize it's okay to be wrong. When the Black Lives Matter movement happened back in June, or started back in June with the riots and then the peaceful protests, I was confused at first, because, to be honest, like, my mentality is, well, don't all lives matter? And that was what I thought at first. But I was like, well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, everyone matters. But then I realized, as people were explaining it to me and giving me a better understanding, and as I was open, like, yes, all lives do matter. But currently, there are those who believe that Black lives don't. And we need to be able to help people to understand that those Black lives are included in those all lives. And when I made that connection, I was very open to being wrong and not being ashamed, but being grateful that I had the opportunity to learn and grow and make a change in my perspective, in my opinion, in my understanding, and to be able to then go and be an advocate for people who don't have advocates. And I think that's what we all need to do, is to be able to make change. Start here. Start with yourself. Be willing to make a change, and be willing to be wrong. And when you do that, then it works out. It keeps going.
Yeah, I definitely think that when it comes to other causes, like we do have to educate ourselves on that. The Black Lives Matter was definitely a very hard part for me to accept because I kept getting attacked for everything I posted. Like, I know my heart is in the right place. I believe that their lives matter. I know that they have been treated poorly, and I will fight till the end to make sure that they have gained equality. But a lot of people were attacking me and saying, like, your views are ignorant, and that anything that I posted it seemed wrong. And I almost got to the point where I was like, you know what, I can't. I will be an LGBT activist, but I can't do the Black Lives Matter because I'm wrong every single time.
Yeah.
It took reading 6 books. It took having really, really, really hard conversations with my friends in the Black community. Like, thank God we love each other, because the things that were said, like, it hurt. Like, and it took me feeling a fire inside when they call me out on something and holding that in because I knew they loved me and they weren't calling me out because they are hateful towards me. They were calling me out because they want me to be better. They want me to be a strong ally. They want me to use my platform to help move them forward. And I think that as a gay community, we have to do the same thing. We need to realize that Taylor Swift, we need to realize Lady Gaga, Shawn Mendes, all these people are trying to open doors for us. And a lot of times gay people are like, I want to open that door myself. And I'm like, okay, but they're inside and it's not locked from the inside. It's locked for us. For us to get in, we're going to have to bust the door down, when an ally could literally just turn the door handle, open it, and let us in. And I think that that's something that I kind of realized is, depending on the movement, depending on the situation, we play different roles. And we all play different roles. And I think a lot of people these days are like yelling at each other for not playing every role that they want them to play. And an analogy I used for people is, would you want a person in a wheelchair racing in a marathon where everyone else is fully capable and using their legs? No. But do you think that there's something that he could do to help the cause? Yes. There's so many different, like, Black Lives Matter is huge. It is in everything. Every single thing that is going on in this world is negatively impacting them. So in every organization, we need an ally. We need someone there to make the change here, and we need one here. And without everyone on board, I think that people, like, I've seen people say silence.
That was so interesting. It just all of a sudden booted me off, and I was like, oh, okay.
This is like a rough live. I don't know what's going to save to my Instagram live page, but I guess we can wrap it up. I just noticed that it's past 7. But
okay.
I definitely enjoyed our conversation. I hope that most of it saved on Instagram so other people can watch it that weren't able to watch it live. I think it's kind of crazy. Technology, it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes not.
Yeah, for sure.
But was there anything that you would like to kind of just like sum up towards the end now that we're kind of finishing up? I see people are still joining.
I know. Single person has worth. I with some of my clients, I even talk about this. Like, we talk so much about how, at least a lot of the conversations I have with people is, it's always just this hate and disgust and anger towards our current president and administration. But I often have to stop and, like, point out that yes, those are accurate and correct feelings for you to have, but also we have to remember he's a person. He's a human. He's got worth. He's got value. And yes, I don't agree with a lot of the things that he has, with pretty much any of the things that he has to say. But I don't think that he should be our president. But that doesn't mean that he should be demonized. It doesn't mean that he should be seen. those understanding can really help when it comes to talking with other people. If they support Trump, that's fine. They're supporting somebody that they believe in. With kindness and understanding and listen to their points and then offer questions, offer ideas, let them take it upon themselves to learn and listen and grow. Don't force or tell or shove or push or anger your way into telling somebody how they should feel. People want to learn and understand for themselves. And if you give them that opportunity by treating them with respect, with kindness, and as if they are human beings, because they are, then they will be much more open to listening. And I think that is huge, whether it be on social media or in person or anywhere other platform. Treating people with kindness and respect in a human fashion is the only way to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I feel like any type of post that I've seen in my head, I'm like, that could have been spinned in a positive way to make a positive message go out there to where maybe we could get some people to switch over from red to blue. I think we always have to have that mindset of, okay, here's my emotions. I'm definitely feeling some. Last night's debates definitely stirred some emotions in me. And I was just like, okay, now let's debrief. Now, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? Um, let's educate myself. There's a lot of things that got brought up that I wasn't aware of. And I was just like, okay, is this fact or is this a lie that's being said to rile the crowd up? And I was like, okay, I need to educate myself on this topic before I make a comment.
Yeah.
So I think positivity, anything can be spun that way. And people always challenge me on that. I say everything can be spun positive, like no matter what. Even like people talk about death. Like, yes, that's painful. That sucks. Death is not fun to go through, especially when it's someone that you're really close to. But you can look at that whole thing and be like, okay, while they were here on this earth, this is what they gave me. This is the stuff that I have from this person. One of my best friends passed away in a really bad car accident, and I was stunned. I couldn't believe that someone I thought I was going to grow old with. My brain even thought maybe one day that was the person I was going to be with, and I just couldn't imagine not living without him here. But when I went to like his service, it was crazy to be surrounded by tons of people I didn't know. We knew each other from a different time in our life than when he lived in Pittsburgh. And every single person's story rang true to the person that I knew who he was. He was the type of person that went above and beyond and did everything for anyone in his life. And it just echoed out of every single person's stories that they were telling about him. And I was just like, he left a light. A little piece of him is in every single person in this room. And the good work that he did is going to go through these people out into the world and to the other people. And I'm just like, okay, I just spun your death theory as a super negative thing into a positive thing. And I went through a lot of pain with that. That still thinking about him, it hurts. But you can turn it into a positive. You can, just like Ruth's death. I was talking to one of my friends and I was just like, it's just like in Harry Potter where they're like Dumbledore's army. I'm like, we need a RBG army, like people that just like come together and take all the light that she gave us when she was here, and we need to just keep it in our circle and then throw it back out into the world so that we are continuing that change that she fought so hard her entire life to make. We can't just give up. And I was like, we can always spin it positive, I promise, no matter what. Now that my Instagram's kind of gone international and people from all over the world watch and see this, I get people all the time in countries where being gay is, you're dead. Like, if you came out, if someone knew you were gay, you're dead. It's dangerous. And I always try to, like, the filters and life I've lived, I can't really answer a lot of the questions for them. I'm just like, you have to educate yourself. You have to find ways to still be happy. Maybe it's getting an education and getting yourself out of that country. Maybe you need to come over to America, go somewhere in Europe that's accepting, and educate people here. And then we all go and create a change in that country, because that's really hard. It's hard. Like politics in other countries, like people think it sucks over here. Um, it's I talked to one of my friends that lives in another country, and I was just like, if Trump gets elected again, I'm moving. And he was like, yeah, which country? The one that kills gays or the ones that does this? And he's like, you guys don't have it that bad. You need to put it into perspective of what other countries are out there suffering way worse than what we are here as an LGBT community. And we have to realize that we have come a long way. Like looking back, we've come a long way. Where we are right now, we are two gay people on Instagram Live, not scared to say, I'm gay. We post stuff online. We're not afraid to, yes, here in some instances, it could be unsafe. You have to be aware of your surroundings and make educated decisions, but we're still able to be proud of who we are. And that's something to be proud of. Like, we can't, all the lives that have been lost, all the lives that have gone towards fighting for this cause, we have to honor them and stay positive. We've got to keep going. We've got to become the next generation of warriors pushing this cause forward.
I agree. Gotta fight. gotta stay strong. That's why we're here. And I think this is a great platform for that. You've created a great space.
Definitely. I don't think I've got a lot of Trump supporters out there. I know that I do have a few that follow me that have commented on stuff and we've had conversations. But I definitely think that we have to step outside of our comfort zone and educate ourselves a little bit more. But I'm going to let you kind of like introduce yourself again, because I think that section, when my phone overheated and just disappeared on me, I think that portion of the like conversation got cut. So I'll let you kind of introduce yourself here at the end, and I'll make sure that this video and the previous one save for people.
Okay. Yes. So again, my name is Cayman Cardiff. I am on Instagram as Cayman Cardiff. And like I said before, I am a massage therapist and personal trainer here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I am also a student at the University of Utah, preparing for my medical school tenure. And on Instagram, it's basically my blog for all of the things that I do in terms of modeling, acting, singing, whatever. I love it all. But I also am on TikTok and Facebook. I guess I have a page there. But to feel comfortable with their status, with whomever they are, wherever they are, whatever it is that they enjoy. And I think that is something very important, something that we can all be, we can all be activists. We can all be people who can strive for the betterment of the human cause. And I think that is something worth doing and something worth sharing. So
exactly that. So like, for anybody that's watching, like, the reason I pulled him on board is because I definitely believe that his message, my message, they ring very clear in what we want the world to do. Like, we could choose to live a life where we don't do anything for the community. We don't do anything. We could live our own lives and be perfectly fine. But one of the reasons why I pulled you on here is just because you're one of those people that you see something that needs to change and you do spend the time to do that. And I mean, you were a friend to me when I needed a friend. I know that I've gone through breakups that you've helped me through. I know that I've gone through stresses of losing jobs and just rotten times, and you've always just kind of been that good guy that I can always talk to, which I've definitely appreciated. And the reason I'm using this platform, I love that I'm growing, but I also believe that there's people out there like you that also, I mean, I'm one person, and I think that when it comes to this type of stuff, we've got to share the wealth. We've got to point people in other directions, because I just recently hit the point where my inbox is too full to where I can't respond to everybody. It's crazy that I gotten to that point, because if you watch previous videos, I say, and I'll always respond. And I'm now like, oh God, it's a full-time job now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I love sharing the spotlight. I love bringing people that have very similar lights in the world. I love bringing attention to that. So anyone who's watching this, definitely go follow him. He's inspiring for sure. He's definitely someone who keeps my light going. So if you want someone else in your life to fill your Instagram feed with positivity, he is an amazing person to follow. So go check him out. But I think we're good. I think I'm tired.
Understood. I've got to go finish moving. Woo.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah.
Positivity.
Yep. Thank you all
Awesome.
so much, and thank you so much for bringing me on here.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with all the technical difficulties and all that fun stuff.
No problem whatsoever.
Awesome. Well, have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Bye.